What are you going to do with yourself?
I'm getting trim, getting really fit for Nikki.
Patrick, she left. She's gone.
Doc, I have one incident. I come home from work, and I see my wife's in the shower. I pull the curtain back. So, yeah, I snapped. Hey, Tiffany. This is Pat. You look nice.
Thank you.
I'm not flirting with you.
I didn't think you were.
Look, I think you're really pretty, but I'm married, okay?
So am I.
No, that's confusing. He's dead. Wait, what's happening?
Silver Linings Playbook. Boy, I need that. Boy. You knew that boy was coming. Damn, working with y'all, I need that playbook.
I just did that without even thinking about that.
I know I did.
That was all natural.
It's my nature. No, you know what? You guys are the silver lining. How about that?
That's
Get
right.
this off
There
to a
you go.
positive start right here.
Thank you,
and
sir.
you know what else is positive about this?
What's that?
I think that this is one of my favorite movies this year.
Yeah, that when I saw it, I just came out like, wow, I think this is my favorite movie this year.
And I am in total agreement with you because I think I walked out saying this is my most favorite movie, and then you said it. I'm like, God damn it! Can't we just have one movie where I just like it alone, so it could be
you got plenty of those.
So it could be my movie.
It's just me. Cyrus, you were gonna say?
Well, you know, Leon, like you have in the past. Well, you told me about this film a while ago. You were like, I think this is my favorite movie. I think you like it better than Argo. So, you know, I walked in this really excited to see this film.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys might remember a little tendency Leon has when the situation is reversed here. Where we're all like, this movie is great. You're going to love it. And invariably he walks out going, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you guys. That movie's not so good. Well, I'd like to say for the record, it's just you, man. This movie is great.
Oh, okay. I don't care. I was like, really? It's like, there's no way you came out.
I was all hyped up about this, and I still thought it was fucking fantastic.
Well, why did you use all those words, Cyrus? I would have just said, Leon, usually I think you're full of shit. Right now, you were still full of shit, but not as much.
Your opinion
I'm sorry
stinks.
to pick on you.
Now, you know, well, it's funny because I was a little worried because we were hanging out in the theater and we ran into Carlisle. And we were telling Carla, yeah, we just saw this movie that really blew us the fuck away.
Oh,
you
like,
saw, what was it? Yeah,
you saw Insidious. I mean,
yeah, I know, yeah, Insidious.
Oh, what is it called? You saw Sinister. You loved it, didn't you?
Yeah, sorry. Same movie. But yeah, we were just like, yeah, we just saw this movie that blew us away. And we told him what it was. And he was like, I heard mixed things about that.
Yeah,
I hear people actually didn't like, a lot of people just don't like it. Or they really love it.
Is my name on it?
Yeah, I know.
That's not that good.
So I was looking at you going, oh shit, you know, it could be one of those cases where we tell the guys how much we love it and they come back going, the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Well, and this isn't a movie for everybody, that's for sure. I mean, this is a really complex story. Sure, it's a romantic comedy, but not like anyone you've ever seen before.
To the point to where the first half of it is so not a romantic comedy. Like, at the point where it became that, I was like, I did not see it coming this way.
Well,
It hits you in the face like that movie Audition, where you're like, wait, what's going on?
Wait,
huh?
I'm sitting here in a romantic. Wait, why am I crying? What the hell's going on?
And put peanut butter in my.
A film that usually functions on that sort of uncomfortable comedy, which I know you love so much.
Sure.
Leon. Like that whole like, oh geez, I'm just squirming in my seat watching these characters interact with each other, to actually turn around where you just really, really like everybody and you're rooting for them to get better. Man, I can't believe they made it work.
Well, I mean, talking about rooting for everybody, starting out this movie, I was not digging like Bradley Cooper. I was like, man, he's doing a good job, but I hate this character. He is a problem. He is going to make everything bad for everybody. And I thought I was just watching a movie about somebody who has a mental condition who's just going to go downhill and drag everybody with him. And I was just like, this is not going to be fun.
Well, that's funny you say that because I liked him because I'm like, I know this guy. It's like, I know him. Oh, he's moving in with his parents. I know that guy too.
Pretty sure
and
it's like half the people used to come to see the real deal.
Yeah. And the thing is, I just easily identified with that character because I've met him before. So there wasn't a dislike for him at all. I was like, yeah, this is what crazy people like this actually go through.
Well, you should hear about us when we talk about you when you leave.
Son of a bitch. Hey, I got the internet too, motherfucker.
Bipolar.
You know,
that explains things.
Yeah. Well, with you two talking about Bradley Cooper in this, I think this is one of Bradley Cooper's finest performances here. This is a guy that just keeps getting better. Plays a guy named Pat Solitano. He's delusional. I mean, he just lost his wife, lost his job, and now he's got to move back home with his parents because he don't have shit. And he might still have those things if he just wasn't fucking crazy. And and what you're saying about this being a movie where it's a romantic comedy, see, it's a character piece at first.
Yeah.
You think you're watching a movie about a guy that's having to come to issues with himself and what caused him to get there, because his family ain't too, they're not too normal either. Yeah. Mom is cool. Who plays the mom, by the way?
You know, I don't know her name. I just know she was the mom
Jackie
in
Weaver.
Animal Kingdom.
She's brilliant.
Weaver,
yeah.
Jackie Weaver. Yeah, she plays the mom, Dolores, in here. Now, she's kind of cool, but Pops is crazy because he's obsessed with the Philadelphia Eagles. Mm-hmm. And he blames his son. Hey, if you're not here, you did this. They lost because of you. So you can see where all this anxiety comes from. Mm-hmm. But the main thing that Pat wants to do is he's on a mission to get his wife back. And with him, he flies off the handle at everything. This is a guy who's on medication because his anxiety will make him just become almost violently temperamental. And so he's saying, I'm going to get my wife back and it's going to be the best love ever. And everybody's like, nah, you crazy motherfucker. No, she's not. And so
leave her alone.
And I see what you're saying, because it's an aggressive character. It's an aggressive movie. And I can see where you're sitting there thinking, am I going to have to deal with this asshole through the rest of the movie? But then Jennifer Lawrence comes. He gets introduced to Jennifer Lawrence at a dinner party, and she starts to lure him in because she's crazier than he is.
Yeah. Which makes it's the great story of when crazy meets crazier.
It is.
Yeah.
When they say matches made in hell, this is it right here. This is insane fucking hell. These two people together, they're just a storm of insanity. But that's the moment where you're thinking this is going to be something where we're going to be watching two annoying people just ruin their lives. You begin to see that they actually start to balance themselves out.
Well, but you know what? They don't give you that answer easy. Like, it doesn't reach that comfortable point until way later in the film. Like, it already seems like it's going to be this big tragic mess. What I liked is how, Bradley Cooper, his character is aggressive. Doctors are telling his mom, don't take him out now. He's not ready. You can see he's not ready. He's delusional. He flies off the handle at anything. It's just like, this is not going to end well. But the longer it goes on, the more you see, like, well, he gets some of this from his dad, and what his wife did was kind of fucked up. And the more it's just like this, slowly it goes along. You're like, this is not all his fault. I'm actually feeling really bad for this guy.
You start to sympathize. You start to understand, especially when you're introduced to the family, where the family is a big integral part of the story, because it really sets the mood of who this guy. Sets the mood of the movie itself. And the whole idea of, why all this is happening to this guy. Why is he the way he is? Especially when you meet the dad. You're right. I mean, you do realize, man, this guy is kind of, he's kind of a mess because his dad is kind of a mess.
Well, they found it, like his dad found a way to at least, like, acceptable in society, channel his own craziness, his OCD into being obsessive about sports and have his own little tics. I mean, stuff that you go to any, like, a tailgate party. There's tons of people doing that same shit. Right. Their own little rituals and everything.
But not to his level. I'm not going to explain it.
I don't know, dude.
Maybe not. I don't know. I don't go to a whole lot of football games.
He's functioning like mostly. Yeah, exactly. He's found a way to make himself largely function. Whereas we're watching this story of this guy who doesn't know how to function anymore. Like, he has good days and he has bad days. And we start off seeing him on one big fucking bad day. And it just, it goes on that way for a while. We're like not sure what we feel about him. Is this a tragedy? What's going on here? But it's quickly clear that, like, on his good days, this is a guy with a good heart. He has a good soul. He wants to be a good guy. He believes in love. He believes in happy endings, is what he keeps saying.
He's loyal, too.
He believes that everything has a silver lining to it. And he's just trying to convince himself to be able to see that in the world. And it's really not till he meets somebody who has no filters, just like he does, who's Jennifer Lawrence, that he's actually able to have someone to call him on his bullshit, because his family doesn't understand him and his friends don't really understand him, and everybody's afraid. I mean, you don't know what to do with a guy who's clearly that crazy or how to address it. She does.
It's also
people usually running. That's what.
Take him off your friends list.
Yeah, what I love about that relationship too, it's almost like it's that great situation where you realize, somebody's having a mirror being held up to them.
Right. Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this.
Is that what I look like?
Is that what I look like? No, this ain't me. No. It's like a Billy where they stand in front of Corey. He's like, no, I'm not this guy.
Son of a bitch.
But that's the thing.
Hello, past Corey. Hello, future Corey.
I don't like you, past Corey. You're not me. You're not me.
Your next movie is you and Billy shooting a black version of Looper.
But that's the great chemistry that they have in a way, and you see it played out. And that was like the fun part of this movie for me. And you know what? I've never considered, it's Jennifer Lawrence, right?
Yeah.
That's okay. Jennifer Lawrence, I know you guys go off on her being beautiful. I've never really saw her in a light that made me go, man, she's hot. I always thought she had kind of a weird face or whatever. But in this movie, it's probably the best acting I've ever seen her really do. To where I'm like, okay, I can give her credit for being an amazing actress. And number two, she looks fucking gorgeous.
And number three, let me give you credit for actually asking us her name before you said Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez, she was good, man.
I did a lot of
not Jennifer. Yeah. God damn it,
Leon. I listened to what you said. I did a lot of research. On trying to remember that fucking name.
There's something to be said, though, and I can say as someone who is no longer weak in this way, but has definitely suffered from it in the past, from the obviously crazy chick who looks good, who goes, "You want to fuck or what?" And your mind goes, "Dude, you are going to fuck up so bad if you even touch this chick. It's going to ruin your life." And your dick goes, "Shut the hell up."
Cyrus, may I ask you, how did you overcome that?
Well, I went ahead and fucked a bunch of them.
I thought you said
I've been trying that method. It hasn't been working out.
Eventually it wore off. I was like,
can you give me some silver lining tips?
Avoid red hair.
That's a good one.
That's a starter program.
Let's see, too late. Hey, you know what though? All of you have a point. It's often I have these members in my family. Bradley Cooper are several members of my family. So when you didn't like that character, I was thinking, man, this is normal for me. Let's see, did Bradley Cooper call his little brother a motherfucker or tell him to suck his dick like my big brother did me when I was 9? No. So this was actually very heartwarming. I was able to relate to this because I mean you and I talked about my family a lot. We have something in our family. It's uncanny because I don't believe in superstition. I don't believe in genes hopping over other genes and a pattern repeating the way that they're talking about my family. But in my family, there is every other guy gets a case of paranoid schizophrenia or anxiety like this.
So we know what to expect from you.
Yeah. Well, we know what to expect.
I didn't get it. It was my brother, and then
he's just paranoid.
I'm sorry.
I'm just an asshole.
Yeah. I thought we've already been living through this. I'm like, why is this a shock to you? Right
now? I'm not trying to make this the Corey hour right here. I'm just saying.
Too late.
I'm not trying to make this about me. But,
it ain't all about me.
But can I tell you about my family for a little
bit? Let me tell you about the Corey silver lining of Playbook.
Let me put some Stevie Wonder on while you tell me.
Actually, that's
well, I like that you're bringing up your family.
I'm just saying, where you didn't like that character. I kind of like that character. I saw because I know that is not an exaggeration. Some people.
Oh, I know that too.
And they'll be like, oh, come on, this guy either he's okay. Don't be middle grade. Either you're crazy or you're not. But this guy, they're trying to make him lovable, but he's violent. But no. I have relatives like that, so I related to this character. And the whole thing of Jennifer Lawrence coming up is that's how you combat those personalities. Sometimes you have to become assholes with them when they're getting out of hand.
Call them on their bullshit.
Yeah, call them exactly.
Be afraid of them. Now, see, I mean, I grew up in a situation without anybody like that in my family, but we were brought up in a world like, hey, it's important to be empathic to everyone with problems, try and help people. And, after a while, you get burned on that shit because you don't know. When you encounter people who are like bipolar like that, you're like, fuck. And I reached a point, 10 years ago, I was like, you know what? Fuck bipolar people. I don't even want them anywhere near me. And what I like about this film is that's my cowardice. That's not something wrong with it. There are people who have psychological problems they can't help, right? That's my cowardice going like, oh no, fuck it, I'd rather not deal with it at all. This movie presents these characters that at first you are afraid of, but as it goes along, it really makes you feel sympathy for their conditions they're in and who they are as people and really shows their humanity in a way that I can't think of another film that is really done.
I can't either. And like I said, it's not like I was hating the movie, but I've dealt with the bipolar Bradley Coopers before, and they're exhausting.
I'm glad we're still friends.
Because man, I have
what do the voices
I
say
realize
about
it's not your fault, but I'm not a trained psychologist.
Yeah.
I can't help you. All that can happen is that you could pull me down with you. Like there'll be a day when I'm going to wake up and I'm inside the bars and you're throwing peanuts at me.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, looking at his family and his poor dad, Robert De Niro, who's fantastic. And once again, whenever Robert De Niro plays a dad, he's my dad. And I'm like, God damn, he's got all the mannerisms and everything.
He's the best. He is the best, like, outshining performance that I've seen him do in a long time. You're right. I mean, that's the one thing we both kind of bonded on. The memories I have of my Japanese father. The things I remember about him, it's so uncanny how just his manners, just somebody trying to connect with his son, that he comes to acknowledge that, hey, I know I fucked up. You know, you and I, we didn't have that much of a close relationship, but I'm really trying to mend these fences, and it's hard. It's hard. I know it's hard on you. It's hard on fucking me right now, and it's a big mess, but I don't want you to fuck up. It's like, in a way, it's like, you know, don't be me. But, I mean, there's a lot of things to his performance where it's scary to me how much he reminded me of my father. I'm sure, like, he reminded you of yours. And that's why I love this movie, because it's like you said, Cyrus, it's one of these movies where it's the first movie to get just like the whole core of how people really are in life, you know, having to deal with this. It's so real that, you know, I'm like, man, the writer, whoever wrote this, must have been dealing with these people. This must have been like a chunk out of his. Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah. Well, whoever wrote this must have had this experience happen to
personal
them. Know these people.
If they're not bipolar themselves.
Because just the direction. I have to give the director credit for nailing down all these performances, all of them, not just one person.
That would be
all of
David O. Russell, who did The Fighter.
He
really knows how to handle these kind of characters.
Made one great movie after another.
And if anybody knows about David O. Russell is, I mean, he starts fights with people on set anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this was actually almost a documentary for him. Maybe he really was making Bradley Cooper crazy.
Have you seen I Heart Huckabee's footage where he and Lily Tomlin are getting into it?
No! Fuck you!
Yo, yeah, he makes her do so many takes that
that's better than the movie. That's the best part.
I suspect that Russell is bipolar himself anyway, so it's not surprising that he would be the guy to help something like that.
Apparently on every set, he starts shit with people to the point where people walk out, they don't want to work with him anymore.
But he creates such characters with so much depth that are unusual in ways that are usual, you know, for in real life, but not in film.
Yeah.
It's like we see these people that they're just too real in not a cliched Hollywood, oh, we know what these characters do sort of way. And this is one of the finest examples of his films yet in that. I mean, even both of his, you know, bipolar characters are so completely different from each other, and yet they're puzzle pieces that their various mental derangements fit neatly inside of each other. They counter each other just right.
Yeah.
Yet you would never mistake the writing for one to be the other.
Well, I think it's also, I mean, maybe being such a tumultuous director lends itself to making these great films, because except for maybe Three Kings, because he did Three Kings, I Heart Huckabees, The Fighter. I mean, we're
missing one.
And I know I'm missing. Am I missing one?
Yeah, we're missing one.
I feel like I'm missing one.
What it is.
Hey,
I know.
Wikipedia to the rescue. Let me look it up.
Back in the real deal days,
I just sounded stupid.
This shit.
Yeah,
I just sounded dumb back then.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say we just fucked it all up.
Well,
there was a lot of stuff he did.
The lithium shuts up the voices now. So
Flirting with Disaster, Spanking the Monkey. A lot of these movies.
With Disaster.
Yeah, a lot of these movies have to deal with just, as I said, just antagonistic characters. They're just going at each other. Or it's just a very violent environment. And
Spanking the Monkey is fucked up.
Yeah,
for these kind of, and maybe it's a guy that just really knows how to bring those kind of movies into a film, but also have a heart at the center of it. And you know, the other thing about it is that this is a character that normally you would either hate or you'd be afraid of, because Jennifer Lawrence, I couldn't stand up until a certain point.
Sure.
You know, but he brings an understanding to them. He brings a suffering to light in a way that you do feel sympathetic for them. You mentioned how, and it's kind of funny in the movie, whenever there's, is it My Sharia Moore Stevie Wonder? Whenever it plays, it reminds him of something that happened.
Yeah, he's like,
in his
Mo Larry the Cheese, Mo Larry the Cheese. Knocking people out.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper's character loses his shit. I'm talking about tearing up stuff, and it drives him crazy. But there's one particular part in the movie where he hears it. It's not even playing, but it starts to play when everybody's going against him. And this poor guy, you get inside his head how damn, I want to whoop somebody's ass right now, but I can't because I know the consequences now. You feel so bad for him.
You can see him start to break down in a way. Like, I have a honest to God, almost mental breakdown, not knowing what to do in the situation because he's surrounded by so many people, and yet you see just like the fight in him, the struggle. That's a brilliant scene.
Well, he doesn't understand in his condition why other people aren't as infuriated by the things that he is. Like when he runs into his parents' room in the middle of the night to yell about the Ernest Hemingway book he just read, and they're like, "Why are you doing this? All right, we'll talk about it tomorrow." He's like, "What? Are you crazy? This is huge. We have to talk about this now."
The whole time you're rooting for this Hemingway guy to survive the war and to be with the woman that he loves, Catherine Barkley.
It's 4 o'clock in the morning, Pat.
And he does. He does. He survives the war. After getting blown up, he survives it, and he escapes to Switzerland with Catherine. You think he ends it there? No! She dies, Dad! I mean, the world's hard enough as it is, guys. Can't somebody say, hey, let's be positive? Let's have a good ending to the story?
Pat, you owe us an apology.
Mom, I can't apologize. I'm not going to apologize for this. You know what I will do? I will apologize on behalf of Ernest Hemingway, because that's who's to blame here.
He just found a clue or something. You're solving a case. Yeah. No, but there's I'm glad to see that there's a lot of actors in this movie that we hadn't seen in a while. I think they actually went to an insane asylum to film Chris Tucker's scenes.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like, what did it take to get Chris Tucker to be? Because he's almost just pretty much retired, unless he's going to get a big payday.
Oh, I think it was money.
Yeah. I heard it was chocolate milk.
But this isn't a movie that anybody got paid a lot of money to do.
Exactly.
Like Bradley Cooper, like, you know, he either discounted his fee or just did it for no money.
He does that a lot, though.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
he does when he believes in something or his friends doing it.
He's the one that pushed to, I think if he's not the main one, he's definitely one of the forces in getting this movie done.
Right. And just, you know, it was nice having Chris Tucker pop up and not just take over. Like when you first see him, you're like, oh shit, what's this Negro going to do?
Yeah.
But he was very laid back.
He wasn't playing the guy from Fifth Element. Right. Running in, hey, what's up,
yeah, there was not one man in that office.
And yet he was really funny and charismatic and likable, and they used him just enough.
Yeah,
they did. And there's an actor that no one has really taken notice yet of, but I love this guy.
And don't tell me, Boardwalk Empire plays Nucky's younger brother.
Wiggum, Chief Officer Wiggum, whatever his name is.
And fucking Julius Stiles is in this thing.
Shea Wiggum.
Oh, yeah.
Shea Wiggum.
Yeah.
He plays the friend, right?
He plays the brother.
Yeah.
Brother. Oh.
Yeah.
No, he's good. But that guy's getting work. Everybody's getting to see this guy. No, it's a guy named John Ortiz.
That guy, yeah.
That guy would play villains all the time. He played the same villain
in one of the Fast and the Furious movies.
That's right. Man, for years he would just walk off one set and walk to another and play the same villain. He had this big Puerto Rican afro. He had a shirt unbuttoned down to his navel and had all these gold chains on his facial hair. And he'd always play the kind of guy, hey man, I want my money, man. But there was a movie that I finally saw him in, which was Jack Goes Boating. Nobody saw it except me. Okay. But it's a movie with.
Look at the title.
That's the guy who's playing the friend, though, right?
Yeah, he's the guy that plays the friend.
You know what else he was also in?
The gangster movie. What?
Aliens vs. Predator Part 2? He was in that.
Hey, Predators are gangsters, man.
He was actually in that movie. He played the sheriff in that movie.
I hope this guy gets more work.
He's great in this movie. He's awesome.
Great in this. And if you see him in Jack Goes Boating, which you won't, so you know what I'm saying. But if you do catch him in that movie, this guy should be getting a lot of attention because he's gone from gangster to being like a really just heart and soul type character. How many times can I use heart and soul?
As many times as you like.
One more.
Yeah, I have one more?
Yeah,
okay, I'll find some way to pull it out later.
You throw one more in there and the Ghost of Isaac Hayes will come.
But I think what bothered me about the movie, if there's anything I didn't like, and maybe bother would be a little extreme, but the movie concludes with, and I'm not spoiling anything here when I say this because I already see people, God damn it, Corey, you still telling too much information. Fuck you, I'm not. It ends with a dance number, and I don't know. Dancing is gay, so I don't. No, I'm kidding.
That's a spoiler alert right there.
Man, I just want to look at that look on your face, Leo. You just like, Jesus, man, this guy.
I was gonna say that was one of the things that really sold this movie for me. I was like, that's what a fantastic way to like climax the third act in a number that like I was afraid they might go with oh my God, look how ridiculously talented they are,
right.
And they're not, but they are creative. It's almost like there's an element of their shared madness in the choreography of their dance.
Exactly. See, I don't want to say I didn't like the whole thing. I thought that it was a way of kind of getting. I saw that it's trying to get some a cheap, rousing applause by having this thing built up to this dance number. But then they did something I thought was.
Well, I think that's what's
it was really funny.
I think that's what's kind of brilliant about that, because as soon as you start to realize, oh, okay, this is kind of setting itself for the climax, you can't help but have a bad taste in your mouth about the whole idea. You're like, because I was in the theater going, man, this movie is so goddamn good, but don't take it there, please. But when you see where they actually take it, I thought it was
exactly.
I was like, wow, that's clever. That's almost like his joke on Hollywood going, oh, you know how you guys like to end it on this note? Well, fuck you. I'm going to show you how to do it right. And he did.
It's a movie that doesn't betray itself, because in other movies where it ends with a dance number, like, Despicable Me is over. They go like, hey, let's dance to the Bee Gees because we don't know how else to end this. But this is integral to the plot. They'll build it up the whole time. There's no kind of just crowbarring it in at the last minute.
You're just going to find any way to try to put Despicable Me down, aren't you?
I know, man.
Come on, that was unnecessary. That wasn't even close.
It wasn't that bad. I was like, hey, I like that part of the movie. Yeah. That was about as good as this one. Come on, man.
What's your mental problem?
You know what?
Two great dance numbers, Despicable Me in this movie.
You can't bring up Despicable Me anymore unless you bring chicken nuggets for everybody. Because now I'm hungry.
You owe us a 20-pack next time you do it right.
Right?
It does make me hungry.
But, I do actually have one minor problem with this film, because I did really love this.
He ain't.
But, it was something that, like, I guess is like a pet peeve when you've got somebody who seems like, all right, so the guy, the situation where he got put away in the first place,
you really want to
goes, this is early on in the film.
No, they don't really reveal it till later. They mention that they mention the act, but they don't like show the details of it.
Well, it takes a while.
And at the point when you see the detail, that's when you go like, well, fucking A, man.
But no one in the film ever turns around and goes, well, man, I kind of would have done what you did too. I don't really no one ever offers any empathy to him for the situation.
Okay, the problem with that is like his reaction is appropriate, but then it becomes not appropriate.
Too far.
It goes too far.
Well, I like that it was a mystery. You were really wondering. Like, they kept it as a mystery to really know, because they didn't want to tell you off the bat, because then you would have sympathized. They wanted you to really know who he was first, like just with fresh eyes, without giving away all his story. And that's when you start, it's the discovering of this character on this journey, when you're watching the movie, to see that, oh, he's not who I thought he was in the beginning. Exactly. Not at all. And that's the fun of it.
I still was just a little part of me irritated that it's never even addressed. Like, no one even discusses with him, wow, that's fucked up, man. Nobody ever says to her, well, you're kind of a bitch, aren't you? I mean, it was like, there's no comeuppance in any way. There's no sort of like, hey man, you went too far, but I can kind of see where.
Are there any real comeuppance in life when shit like that happens?
Well, not necessarily. Yeah, but still, it's a major element of the film, and it dances around it.
The little people in Wreck-It Ralph never said, "Hey, Ralph, we you know what? We really should have invited you over to the party."
I haven't seen Wreck-It Ralph, so thanks a lot.
Spoiler, see man. Hey, and by the way,
I said, it's a very minor problem, but it did keep sticking with me.
Hey man, I got your back on that. I see what you're saying. Not really, but he had my back last time.
I know.
We're going to edit that part all out.
It's all political. It's all about favorites.
Anyway, man, I do think
you guys, I'm going home.
No, I'm right there with you. I mean, I got my complaints too, but I thought even with my complaints, they brought it around to save whatever complaints I had. And I do love how scary this movie is in the beginning almost with this character. I enjoyed that. Where you say you hate this character, that took me, you know how Cyrus was saying, we like those movies where it's uneasy, it's tension. There was a lot of tension whenever he would get around anyone. I thought, how is this guy going to go off? And I like that. But it's also great how they brought this movie back around to having a lot of heart and soul. That's my last one. You said I could have that one, right?
All right, that's it.
So, yeah, I'm going to give this. It is. I don't know if it's my favorite movie that I've seen this year, but it is definitely up there. It's big full price.
Why you guys say it like that? I don't know if it's my favorite movie, like you. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. That's my way of
you broken, Leon.
That's my way of saying fuck you without saying that. Yeah, it's your favorite movie. Well, fuck you. It ain't mine.
You like that movie so much? Well,
Yeah.
like it too, but not as much as you do. So, man,
Leon,
what do you think about that?
Leon, everyone knows my favorite movie is Lincoln. So, there.
I mean, it's no Twilight, which was the best of the series, but
Hey,
It's not.
Hey, man, stinking Lincoln.
this is a movie that was hyped to me about how great it was. And I think I loved it even more than the person who told me how much they loved it. The fact that to have these complex characters, to write them in a way that's like, wow, these are like real people. Like when I talk about movies not being able to pull this off, I just want to go to every movie and go like, look, this is how you do this. This is what you give these people such a backstory that you feel like you know every one of them. Great casting, making Julia Stiles the older sister of Jennifer Lawrence, by the way, because I was like, wow, they do have such a resemblance.
Don't
to each
they?
other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her best role in forever.
And yeah.
Bad, it was only for about 2 minutes.
Hey, best 2 minutes I've ever seen.
But I mean, we've gone on about everything that's great about it. I really have no complaints. I love the fact that the movie, it started as where I say like, I hated his character. I didn't hate him the way like, man, I'm not enjoying this movie. I was enjoying the shit out of the movie from the beginning. And it was that tension. It's just like, I just thought the way it started, it was going to be a much different, darker, dour movie than it ended up. Cause I was like, this is going to be one about addiction and recovery and all this. And I just saw this with Denzel Washington. And what it morphs into was fantastic. Left me with a good feeling. And there's even a part where I got choked up, and mostly not even the love story so much, even though that got to me too, but just the dynamic between the father and son. I was like, wow, I'm going through a whole emotional roller coaster with this movie.
That got me. I was right there. I was crying my bitch ass right next to you.
I was sitting next to you,
trying not to look at you.
Act like, oh, it's my allergies, and something just hits in my face. And we still have some movies to see, but right now, this is my favorite movie. I'm gonna go ahead and give it the better than sex.
Good Lord.
Hey, by the way, here. Snickers. It's the truth, man.
A Snickers that you sat on?
It's been in my back pocket for about 3 hours.
It's been in his ass for about 3 hours.
Give me this shit, man. Can't nobody be nice to you. See, I tried to be nice. God damn it, you're making me Bradley Cooper now. You ungrateful motherfucker.
You got to invite him to a dance number.
With the mentally disabled, you got to take like what they have to offer.
You're not helping, Leon.
You're really not helping my progress.
Well, anyway, this wasn't my favorite movie of the year, like some people.
Some asshole I know.
Actually, I've been gone for so long, I haven't seen all the movies that other people call their favorite movies, so I don't know. Right Now it really is one of my favorite movies this year. It is an incredibly complex character piece that yet has a beautiful simplicity to it by the end of it. You're like, wow, we watched a story that ultimately is like, if you take out all the complex character stuff going on, all the interesting bipolar relationships between these people, the fact that you feel like there's a whole book written beyond this book of just shit we didn't even see about the dynamic in this family that existed before the events of this. You take all that out and it is a very simple love story, and yet it never feels that way for a second. Nothing about this is predictable. It's got fantastic dialogue, really, really top-notch performances from some of the best young actors working today. Yeah, this is absolutely a full-price film, and I think that it's one of the films that whether you're one of those highfalutin snobby types, or whether you just like to go in and see a movie with a lot of heart and emotion that's just going to speak right to you, you're going to like this either way.
Yeah.
What else can I say that you guys haven't already said? I mean, you're right all across the board. I take everything you guys said and I pretend I said it. Even the crying part, crying like a bitch. Yes, this is the first movie. I don't cry, dude. I'm not a pussy. I'm a man. I'm a robot man.
He's right there with the oil can.
But man, God damn you, Robert De Niro, boy. You know how to make a grown ass man with big balls cry, boy.
You mean Robert Redford?
Robert De Niro. Come on, man. You trying to fuck me up? I can't. That's one name I don't fuck up. That's my boy. That's my father. I love that dude.
He's Japanese.
He will be when I'm done with him.
But anyway, where you going? Come sit down here. Watch the game with me.
Hang out with me. Hang out with your dad. Have some time together. Oh, man.
He's got to walk around his chair 4 times before he sits down and gets his review.
Oh, man. But this is the best romantic comedy that fucking had no romance, really. It didn't have, had plenty of comedy, but tragic comedy. Yeah. But, I mean, for the romance part, I That's the thing. You don't. You never really. It never registers in your head.
Right.
Until there's romance going on here. Yeah. Until like the very end, which is great. It's one of those when you walk out, and you go, you just think about it, and you're like, holy shit, that's done so many things that a conventional movie would never pull on me. Like it was one of those movies I was still thinking about. I was still thinking about the characters, how they interacted with each other. I was still thinking how Jennifer Lawrence fucking was gorgeous in this goddamn movie. Where I'm like, man, I want to go Google her ass up tonight. But I mean, just the hard.
Your eyes were Googled.
Yeah, I was all Google the shit. I really was. Oh, especially during the dance number. Holy shit! I mean, for a guy who you would never imagine like would know how to shoot a dance scene. That dance scene was pretty amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, wow, he had all the right angles on that Jennifer chick. But I mean, but other
He's
than
the
that,
Patrick Swayze of today.
he is. But other than that, just a great, solid film with real characters that I can fucking buy into for once, with a romance that I can buy into for once. And I'm just glad that it's one of those movies where you're wondering, man, you know what? Wow, Oscars are coming around. There really isn't a movie that I can go, yeah, that should be there. There's some that were made for it, but you don't think this is a movie that really deserves some recognition. And this is that movie for me. It's a great film. It's going to be in my top 5. I'm almost, I was like, ooh, this is almost like number 1 for me. But then again, I'm like, well, if only had fucking robots or explosions or something, then it'd be fucking up there. So I'm giving it full price. And I'm giving it reluctantly because usually better than sex, you have to have some kind of fantastical things for me.
You have to say it has to have sex.
It has to have, boobies.
Just one explosion.
But no, it is a very high, very incredible full price film for me.
You bring up an interesting point, though. I wonder if the Oscars are indeed going to pay attention to this film, because it doesn't seem like they're really pushing it, the marketing for it very much. It's really under the radar.
And sometimes I'm like, good.
Well, you're like, did I go to anybody else? I know about this awesome movie.
It is a curious thing because often that will happen. Like some movie comes up that wasn't getting a lot of push and people are talking about it. But that's usually like some obscure, more indie type movie.
Yeah, this has got big actors, a pretty well-known director.
Chicks out here start talking about how cute Bradley Cooper is and his pecs and shit, and they'll start talking about Oscars then.
Really? Is that how it works?
That is how it works.
Okay.
That's how I vote.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Who has the best pecs?
Confidentially, that was the best movie, but it didn't make us any money, so fuck it.
Magic Mike for Best Picture.
There's this dance thing. I can only do it if I have a partner.
Oh, I'm not gonna dance with you.
So is this the girl you wrote about?
You wrote about me?
She's fine.
She is my friend with an F.
A capital F. She's fine.
For friend.
Let me tell you, you gotta pay attention to the signs. When life reaches out with a moment like this, it's a sin if you don't reach back. I'm telling you, it's a sin if you don't reach back.
This is what I believe to be true. You have to do everything you can. You have to work your hardest. If you stay positive, you have a shot at a silver lining. Wait, what's this?
Well, I thought you were doing it.
Oh, I thought you were doing it.